Imagine this. There's a couple. Both of them are working professionals. She works in marketing, earning around $62,000 a year. He works in IT, making about $71,000. Together, they bring in roughly $133,000 annually. On paper, that sounds great. In fact, that puts them somewhere around the top quarter of households in the United States. So logically, everything should be going well. They should be saving money, investing, traveling without stress, feeling secure about their future. But that's not what's happening. Instead, they feel pressure. They're constantly thinking about money. They're not exactly broke, but they're very close to living paycheck to paycheck. They have maybe a couple of months of savings, and even that feels fragile. When something unexpected happens, like a car repair, it goes straight onto a credit card. Both of them work full-time, sometimes even more than that. They're tired. During the week, they barely spend time together. Just a few hours in the evening, usually exhausted. And here's the strange part. They didn't make obvious mistakes. They followed the correct path. They got educated. They built careers. They got married. They combined finances. They bought a home in a decent area. They did everything society tells you to do. So why does it feel like they're falling behind? Why does a household earning over six figures feel financially unstable? If you've ever looked at your income and thought, we make too much money to feel this broke, then this is going to make a lot of sense. We've all been taught a simple idea. Two incomes are better than one. It sounds obvious. If one person earning $50,000 can support a household, then two people earning $50,000 each should be doing much better. In theory, that extra income should go towards savings, investing, and building wealth. But in reality, something very different happened. There's a concept often called the two-income trap, and it explains why earning more doesn't always lead to feeling more secure. In fact, in many cases, it does the opposite. It increases risk. To understand this, we need to go back in time for a moment. Let's look at how things worked decades ago. In the past, it was common for only one person in the household to work, and surprisingly, that one income was often enough. Enough for a home, food, transportation, basic health care, and even some savings. But the most important part wasn't just the income, it was the backup plan. If something went wrong, job loss, illness, the other partner could step in and start working. That second income was like a safety net. It wasn't used all the time. It was there just in case. Now compare that to today. In most households, both people are already working. That backup plan is no longer a backup. It's already being used just to maintain normal life. At the same time, costs have increased dramatically. Housing is much more expensive. Healthcare costs have exploded. Childcare has become a major expense. Education costs keep rising. So what happened? The second income didn't create extra wealth. It got absorbed into higher living costs. Let's break it down with a simple example. Imagine one partner earns $70,000. The other earns $50,000. That sounds like a strong financial position. But now look closer at the second income. First, taxes. That additional income is often taxed at a higher rate, reducing what actually comes home. Then, childcare. If there are kids, this can take a huge portion of the second income. Next, commuting. Transportation, fuel, car maintenance, maybe even a second car. Then, lifestyle adjustments. When both people are working and tired, they're more likely to order food, pay for convenience outsourced tasks like cleaning. These aren't luxury decisions. They're often driven by lack of time and energy. By the time you subtract all of this, the second income may contribute far less than expected. Sometimes only a small amount. Sometimes almost nothing. But here's where the real problem begins. Even though the net benefit of the second income is smaller, the decisions are still made based on the full combined income. People buy houses based on what two incomes can afford. They take on loans, car payments, and financial commitments, assuming both incomes will always be there. And technically, that works, as long as nothing goes wrong. But life doesn't work like that. People lose jobs, get sick, burn out, need to care for family. And when one income disappears, the entire system becomes unstable, because everything was built assuming both incomes are permanent. This is the trap. It's not about spending irresponsibly. It's about losing flexibility. In the past, families had margin. They had space to adjust. Today, many households are operating at full capacity. There's no buffer, no backup. So what can be done? The key idea is simple but powerful. Start thinking. So what can be done? The key idea is simple, but powerful. Start thinking of the second income as optional, even if it isn't. Instead of building your entire life around two incomes, try to structure your core expenses so they can be covered by one. That means choosing a more affordable home, limiting fixed costs, avoiding overcommitment, and then using the second income differently, not for survival, but for saving, investing, building long-term security. This approach isn't easy. It requires discipline. It may mean saying no to things you could technically afford. It may feel like you're holding yourself back. But over time, something important happens. You gain flexibility. You build a financial cushion. And eventually, you're no longer dependent on both incomes just to survive. That's when things change. You can make decisions based on what's best for your life, not just what pays the bills. In the end, this isn't really about income. It's about control. It's about having options. Because earning more money doesn't guarantee security, but having flexibility does. If you understand this concept, you're already ahead of most people. The question is, what will you do with it?